We had no team, and then we had an excellent team. We couldn't score, and then we were scoring for fun. We were definitely going up, then we weren't even making the playoffs. And now we're one game away from sealing our fate, anywhere between automatic promotion and missing out on promotion entirely. What's going to happen on Saturday? We don't know yet, but that is what we are here to discuss. Welcome to Fools Rush In, our pre-Walsall chat, the usual STFC fan nonsense that we provide every week. Let's say hello to the panel ahead of the last regular game of the season. Fingers crossed. Ben, good evening.
Good evening, Stephen. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Pretty good.
Good. And Craig, how are you, pal? Looking very comfy?
Good, yeah, nice and comfy, mate. Yeah, ready for bedtime.
Good. Speaking of bedtime, evening, Rich.
Evening, mate.
How are you, pal?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Good. Hello, Woody.
Evening, we all right?
Yeah, very, very well. And last but certainly not least, hi, Ned. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good morrow, everyone.
All right.
Let's get straight into it then. And the weekend certainly brought with it its own share of nerves. There was a confident mood ahead of it. Rich, talk us through, before we actually talk about the game, talk us through the atmosphere in the build-up to it. I know you went down to like the barbecue and stuff all beforehand, and you were getting well in amongst it. Tell us what the atmosphere was like.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. You know, the organisers of that was absolutely fantastic. You know, they did an absolutely amazing job. They obviously reeled everybody in. I think when you have somebody like the Ridge come down and obviously making the food, I mean, whoever's been to the Ridge knows that they put on some absolutely fantastic food there. The guys are so dedicated there and everything like that. So yeah, I was coaching at Foundation Park before I went, and I could smell the barbecue from there. It was just, you know, I couldn't wait until I finished so I could go over there. It was absolutely brilliant. But you know, everybody was just so friendly. Everybody was talking. The whole town were come together. You know, I saw so many familiar faces and some new faces as well. So obviously, I got to chat with one of our regular listeners, Claire, and it was you know, it was a great chat. You know, great talk. You know, we just got to talk about Swindon and everything that's going on with our current podcast and everything like that. So you know, and it's great to get other people's view on how we've done this season and everything like that. So really good, really positive. You know, everybody was in such a good mood. Everybody couldn't wait for the game to start. So yeah, the pre-match was absolutely fantastic. And then obviously Clem was there as well. Clem made an appearance, so I got to see Clem again. I have met him before, but I've actually played football with him as well. So but yeah, no, it was good to see him. We're all a bit like, how the hell is he walking around in a suit? And then we quickly remembered he's from Australia, so he's probably absolutely roasting in a suit half the time anyway. This probably was nowhere near the level that he was at. But yeah, you know, and then obviously in the ground and everything like that, it was just an absolutely incredible atmosphere the whole day. The sun was beaming. I got sunburnt, shock. So, but you know, yeah, it was fantastic.
And
Absolutely.
Craig, sorry, Rich. Craig, just before we get into the actual game, if I remember rightly, you were out as well, but at a different part in the build up to the game. You were out in one of the pubs asking the lads who was around.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to go to the barbecue, but the queues were so long. It was so busy there. I mean, the atmosphere, like Rich said, was great and everything. And my kids were just eager to get into the ground. So yeah, we just sort of got into the ground. But I mean, once we got our seats, I mean, we was sat down. We had something to eat once we sat down, it was about half an hour before the game started. And even then, I haven't felt an atmosphere like that at the county ground for many years, and obviously went, and it was like what we've talked about before, what's been missing at the ground, like the build-up. I know you can't have that every game, but it has been a bit of a dud at the county ground, the atmosphere that, you know, this season especially. And I know it was sort of similar on Tuesday for the Forest Green game, but yeah, it was just amazing. The build up to kick off, and the crowd got behind the players, and you know, it really did feel like we were the 12th man getting behind the team. People were singing, and yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And it was good for my kids because they haven't experienced that. They haven't experienced that.
Well, they haven't experienced winning at the county ground either.
Well, yeah, exactly. But even without that, you know, the atmosphere there, and it was good for them to see that. And they told me that they really enjoyed it. And I said that's the highs and lows of supporting a football club in general, especially like Swindon. You're going to have that, but it's days like that make the lows worth it. You know, it's all about emotion and the drama. And boy, did that game have a lot of drama, more than what I think we really wanted. But I'm sure we'll get into that in a minute with the game. But yeah, it was absolutely incredible from before the game to the start and all the way through the 90 minutes. The fans were brilliant, and yeah, and thankfully the team didn't fail to disappoint us.
No, correct. Woody, after at full time, I put out a tweet from our account saying previous midweek, the mentality was praised for dealing with the league leaders for so long with 10 men. And then at the weekend, there has to be praise for the attitude again at not letting heads drop after conceding and making 1-1 and almost instantly going ahead again. There have been questions of attitude to a degree throughout the season, but are we now seeing that the experienced heads are really starting to take hold of the younger ones, and there is that mentality there and that attitude there to get the job done?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it's just coming from the experienced heads. I'd say that the mentality across the squad is a lot more belief now. Yep. Even when Barrow equalised on Saturday, for the first time probably in at least 10 years of being a Swindon fan, I actually felt quite comfortable that I thought we might actually still get a winner. And I haven't had that feeling at the county ground, especially at the county ground, for a long time. And I think that was the kind of energy that they were giving us, you know, from it wasn't as intense, the game in general, but as it was on Tuesday, but you could see a kind of confidence, a good belief in the squad that they were going to go on and do something today. And it meant, you know, and we said last week about with Harry McCurdy's comments, and I was one of those that said that we've got to meet halfway in terms of performance versus crowd. And 2 games in a row, the crowd have been fantastic, and they've risen to the occasion and actually made the crowd feel like a 12th man. And that's a mass, or 11th man last Tuesday. But that's the big difference. It's like when you could be loud, you could do all of that, but let's be honest, us being loud at the Man City game didn't make a huge amount of difference. But you know, but when you really have that input, and we can't underestimate how much having Stratton Bank and having it all the way around the ground, you know, had a massive impact on that. But yeah, it was. I think there is a little bit of belief in the players now, and I'm going to take my hat off to Garner on that one, because Garner has pretty much been very, very confident in this set of players. He's never overhyped any situations, but he's also never written them off either. So you know that behind the scenes, he's probably saying to the players, we're going to do this. We're going to push up. And I think when, like I say, when Barrow scored, it was generally the first time in a long time that I felt that we're still going to win this game. And that comes from the energy that's coming off the pitch.
Ned, Woody mentioned there about Stratton Bank, and a friend of the show, Luke, as usual, has sent a few comments and questions in. And one of his almost straight up full-timers, almost an immediate post-match reaction he sent through to us, saying, I get it's an end of the season game, but getting 13k against Barrow is fantastic. The CG plans have suggested about 3k increase in capacity. Do you guys think that's sufficient? And, you know, the only professional club in Wiltshire, big town expansion in the past 30 years. And he goes on to conclude with, and we're just massive. But there was also comments along the lines of that there is proof with the take up of the Stratton Bank that if, obviously it depends on how the team are doing, but if the pricing is right and the the team are on the right trajectory, there is a call for it to be there, and there has been some suggestion from different town fans online they'd like to see it a more permanent thing.
See, I'm not sure how I feel about that, if I'm honest, because let's just say if we had like a 24,000 seater stadium, we're riding on the crest of a wave at the moment. So let's just say if things sort of started to peter out, in a season or two's time, and then was only getting 7,000 again, we're going to have a third full stadium. So I'm sort of inclined to think, if he's in it for the long term, then maybe this is something we can revisit again, changing another stand in another sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 years time. So I'd be more inclined to just make everything new, make all the facilities top notch. Let's get regular attendees, regular season ticket holders of over 10,000 or something along those lines, and then go from there. But I'm a bit sort of reluctant to jump straight into 24,000. I mean, I absolutely agree. Our catchment area is massive. We got fans obviously all over Wiltshire. We've got fans in Bucks. We've got fans in Oxfordshire. We've got fans in Gloucestershire. So we've got a massive
Come
area.
on, Ben, throw in that we've got fans in the West Mids, we've got fans in the East Mids.
I mean, it does branch out as well, but our catchment area is massive, so there is potential there for sure. But I just think if we jump to 24,000 straight away, I think that would be, maybe the money's better put somewhere else for now. I just think the facilities, if we get the facilities top notch, well, not top notch, not even top notch, just new,
reasonable,
yeah. Then let's just give everyone the feel of it's a pleasurable place to be before we start going crazy with it.
Okay. And on the game specific. Oh, go on, Greg.
Sorry, Stick. Can I just add to that? The thing I agree what you say, Ned, about making sure that the current facilities are upgraded and everything. But at some point, you've got to come to you've got to think more ahead when it comes to the capacity. You look at clubs like Swansea and Hull and Stoke. They at some point they had to move into a new stadium where they were only getting like below 10,000 a week or whatever, and they had to take that risk, and then it worked for them. Once success started to come, they were able to fill out those stadiums, and they kind of future-proofed it. I know what you mean. It's difficult because we're only this is the first season where we've been getting 10,000 plus regular, but at some point, if we don't extend the capacity of the stadium within the next sort of 5 or 6 years, or whatever the plan is, it's never going to happen. And then we could end up in a position where we're in the Championship, where your income, which is primarily through tickets, is going to be restricted because we've got a small stadium like what Luton have got at the moment. So I think there is a balance to be had. Maybe not 24,000, but 20,000 maybe would be, I think, entirely reasonable.
Okay. I agree absolutely entirely. It's about finding that balance, isn't it?
And finding the foundation to develop as well. This is where the architectures, they kind of win their money, they'll get their money, isn't it? They're designing a stadium that you can build upon in the future. So we might go with a 20,000, but there could be a capacity there to extend it to 24,000, 26,000, and it all depends on the design. So for example, you look at Don Rogers and things like that, the way that the stadium's built, you could arguably look at whether it could have another tier and things like that. So it's and obviously
you could have things like concerts and stuff like that. Swindon hasn't got a proper concert venue, so if we had a bigger stadium, that could be extra revenue that could go into the club and can make a big difference.
Just side note on that, what was the last sort of couple of properly big concerts at Swindon?
Elton John was one.
I was going to say Elton John's the last one that springs to mind.
Bryan Adams.
Okay.
I was at the Bryan Adams one.
Rich, bringing the question back into to focus with the game at the weekend, you know, you're a regular at away games, so you're regular at the good atmospheres and in amongst the singing Swindon fans. Would you be all for a move to, even if you take the county ground as it is now, would you be more for opening Stratton Bank to home fans regularly?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it made a huge difference on Saturday. You know, I think
They described it as having the four walls, didn't they? Because there were fans on every side of the pitch.
Say again. Oh yeah, I see what you mean by that. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, exactly. You know, it was Woody likes to use this word a lot. Fortress. Yeah, we built a fortress on Saturday. You know, had
no disrespect, but can you build a fortress on a 2-1 win over Barrow?
Not really. Well,
Woody's like, yes, you can.
That's right.
It's the first building block, isn't it, Woody?
Foundations. What I would say as well on the Stratton Bank thing, I would massively support it, but not allow season tickets in there, and just have it, because then you can still use it for the away overflow, because we don't want to become a team that only allows what 800 to 1,000 people to away get. If you know, if we're going to get a big club down here, we want to be able to give them the capacity, because we're probably so I think it would need to be a stand that has no season tickets in there, and we'd have to be careful on the pricing as well, because
I was going to say
you wouldn't want to piss off the season ticket holders.
Wow, I mean, I did think that the £10 incentive was relatively good for that game. I'd say probably going forward, obviously, you know, I think I'd say maybe like £15 or something like that. I think would be probably a fair price. Obviously, I don't know how it all works at Swindon, but you know, I would say personally, for as a fair price to be in the Stratton Bank, I'd say about 15 quid would be good, and like under 11s, same for the rest of the ground, a quid for under 11s, like sort of thing like that. So, you know, I think that's good enough to draw more people in. I mean, the team that I coach, I sent it out because I want the kids that I coach to be supporting Swindon, watching Swindon week in, week out, you know, to learn as well, and to enjoy it and enjoy what football is as a culture. So a lot of my team were there on Saturday as well.
Would they have enjoyed what they saw from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them go not every week, but every couple of weeks anyway. So, well, every couple of games even. So they know what it's like. So, and obviously when we have something to play for, and when you've got a couple of coaches. So obviously I'm obviously a big Swindon fan, and one of my assistants who's actually in the women's team, Honor. She's a massive Swindon fan. She's been a Swindon fan since she was 3 years old. So, you know, when you've got two coaches that are bigging up the team as much as we are at the moment, obviously where we are, and it's rubbing off on the kids, and that the kids are actually deciding that they really want to go. And there was a couple of the kids that I coached that were actually gutted that they weren't going. So, you know, because we were bigging it up so much, they're a bit disappointed. So, you know, but you know, let's see where we get to now. Obviously, we're all to play for. And
just talk us through your thoughts on the game itself then against Barrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, I think we came out. We know what we had to do. Literally, we knew what we had to do. We played our football, you know, and I think the good thing is, and I think something that I discussed before the game as well to a few people, is that Barrow wanted it. We're going to go for this. We were hoping that Barrow weren't going to sit back and be defensive, and they weren't like that at all. You know, they wanted to win the game just as much as we did, even though they've got nothing to play for, which, you know what, really suited us. And I think that's how we won the game. If we play against teams that are just going to be defensive and part the bus, that's where it becomes really, really tough for us, and that we have to work extra hard to break teams down. So, you know, I think yeah, like I say, they let us play our game, and we seek the rewards of it. One thing I don't think got picked up on much was I thought their equaliser was very sloppy. I felt Ward probably could have done a little bit better on that. In fact, actually, no, I think he could have done a lot better on that, actually. But it's the way.
Give me a second. I'm just going to get him out from under that bus you've just thrown him under.
No, but I wouldn't change him at this point. I still wouldn't change him at this point. I don't think there's any point of changing a goalkeeper when your team's winning. I firmly believe that. I stick by that, and
Okay.
Why change something? However, though, I will say I know we're going to talk about it in a minute, but what I will say is that we do need to bring Ellis back in at left back.
Okay. Well, consider Rich's thoughts there about the goalkeeper, and consider the conversation we had a couple of episodes again, lads, because we're coming back to that in just a second because of another question Luke sent in. But before I ask Ben a specific question about things not just at the CG, I wanted to ask, did anyone take any notable performances by anyone in particular that deserves mention from Saturday, or are you all putting it down to a solid team effort?
Frenchie, absolutely unbelievable again.
Very good performance.
He's turning into Mr. Consistent at the moment. Whatever injuries he's had, in the past 2 years, he's obviously struggled in and out of the team, and at one point, and obviously he's now considering retire. Well, I think he's past considering. I think he is going to retire, but I love the fact that he's retiring on a high. That's how everybody should retire, and good for him. He's putting in the rewards, and let's hope we can get promotion for him.
He just needs a chant, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, Woody. There was someone in particular you wanted to praise as well.
Akin, I thought, had a great game as well. I think, considering he's on his weaker side.
Rich will very reluctantly say he had a good game. I think
the ball for the first goal.
Half he was good. Second half, I thought he shied off a bit, but that's all I'll say.
Yeah, but no, it was a good all-round team performance. I think. The only thing I disagree with, and I'm going to get shot by everybody on the panel for this, I don't necessarily think that Reed was as good as everybody's saying he was on Saturday.
That specific game.
He had a good game. Yeah, he had a good. Oh, he's a brilliant player normally. He had a good game, but like I listened to Low Strangers and all that, and they were saying like he was the game changer type thing, and I don't. Although he's obviously a pivotal player for us anyway, but I just don't think he wasn't. I wouldn't say he was my player of the match, although I couldn't pick one off the top of my head. But it feels like nobody else is allowed player of the match at the county ground anyway. It seems always good to Louis Reed.
I thought first half Louis Reed, he gave the ball away quite a few times as well, and yeah, I think he was good. Like, I think it was more of a team performance. They were all good, but yeah, first half I thought I was looking at him, and he's normally a player that I like to watch. Try to. Because he like we've said before, he goes under the radar with the work he does. But there was quite a few times, and there was a couple of times where he dropped our defence in it a little bit with a couple of sloppy passes. So yeah. But I mean, he improved as the game went on. But yeah, I don't think he obviously scored the winner, so it was a game changer. But I don't think he was a man of the match performance.
Okay.
No, I was going to say I thought he was a 7 out of 10 compared to his 8 out of 10 that he normally is. It was the first time this season that I remember that Louis made 4 misplaced passes back to back.
Wow.
And there was you telling us beforehand there was no Ned report.
Well, it's just one of the that was the thing that stuck out in my mind. I was like, that's 2, that's 3, and I was like, oh, okay, so I had to write it down. But
the thing is, what I like about you, Ned, is I've seen you at the football. I've waved at you from a few seats away. I think Man City was the last time I was probably there and saw you. But I like the fact that just like every other fan, you're there, but there's always this strong imagery of you're there with your little notepad, jotting everything down throughout the game. half time you're disappearing and handing it into the management team saying, look, this is the notes I've made from the stands.
look at the points I've underlined.
4 misplaced passes.
But I would have loved to have gone to the game, but unfortunately the wife booked in a 3 o'clock visit to the tip. So thank you so much, wife. I love you so much. But yeah, what a bitch.
Wow.
Well, I won't ask.
We've had words about this before, where she booked stuff for me at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoons.
I seem to remember a specific one about swimming not so long ago.
Yes, absolutely correct. So, wife, take note for next season, please, and the playoffs, because we're making it there.
Indeed.
Yeah, 100% doesn't watch this because you would maybe say,
Yeah.
I'm starting to regret it because she does watch these episodes. I'll make sure that
is this going to be only the third time in our 10-year doing these that I'm going to get a message from someone saying, look, I know we don't edit, but can you please take this out?
Brilliant.
Ben, obviously I'd love your thoughts on Barrow as well, but it's fair to say, if you look at Saturday, there was one result in particular that went our way, and one that looked like it was very much going our way and then completely didn't. But then we all sort of were chatting Bank Holiday Monday, and that wasn't a bad day all round results wise, was it?
No, I think the big one was the Sutton game, because no matter what else goes on, it's what happens directly behind us. And Sutton losing was huge, because even if they pulled off some sort of result, it's still, it's still touch and go. But now it's in our hands because they lost. So it's that was the biggest result went our way that could happen. It's a shame about Rovers. If they had lost, then you never know. Maybe, just maybe, Barrow could have done us a favour. But I think we're good for a playoffs. Absolutely no chance for top 3, to be honest. But
stop being so negative,
it's in our hands.
Ben.
Well, when I said I had accepted that promotion had gone, and we turned it around and started winning games. So if I've just accepted that there's absolutely no chance of automatics, Anthony Grant's going to pop up with a 94th minute special, whip off his top in front of the Rovers fans and kiss his Swindon badge, doing a big knee slide, and we're going up.
What to see.
What a thing to see. But results pretty much went in our favour, so it was good, and we're back in the hunt.
I'm going to try this. I've not done this when we've recorded before, but as you're being negative, Ben, hopefully this will come up on the record as well. I showed you this off air, but we got sent this by the PCM Twitter account. You're saying that this can't happen.
I'm saying £5 on, and the winning stake is £4,022.48. I'm saying that is a fair reflection. Money, Ben. That is a fair reflection on our chances. There's a meme of what's the movie called, Dumb and Dumber, when the guy's saying, you're saying there's a chance.
Oh yeah.
And he's just saying it's like it's 1 in a million. Scunthorpe have won one away game.
It's not 1 in a million. The odds tell you it's not 1 in a million.
It's not 1 in a million, but Scunthorpe have won one game this season. One game, and they're playing their kids this weekend because they played their kids against Hartlepool. So they're going to get back.
Ben, don't worry. Agent Grant's on the case.
He best be. Is he playing? Did he play against Hartlepool? Do we know?
I don't know. I didn't look at their team, to be fair, but
I read a fan said we'll play our kids because we did that against Hartlepool, but they got a point doing that, so you never know. I think we're finished. I think we'll win Saturday, but we'll finish about 4th or 5th. Or 6th.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I stuck another poll out, as has become customary over the last week or two, to see what the fans think, with opinions changing after every game again. And this was the outcome vote. And we're going to obviously talk about Walsall now. This is what fans believe was going to happen. 42% of people saying finish 6th or 7th. Only 6% of people think we won't make the playoffs as a minimum. I'm liking the, for round figures, 23% of people that do believe we will make automatic promotion though, lads. Craig, what's your thoughts seeing that?
Well, I don't know what the 23% have been bloody
I'll have some.
taking, but I'll have some of that to go with my meds I'm taking already. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be 6th or 7th, isn't it? You know, I like the optimism of our fans that we could get automatic, but when you're looking at 5 other games to go in your favour, that's incredibly unlikely. But yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, we just got to do our job, haven't we, at the end of the day? And I think, you know, I said, you know, off in our WhatsApp chat, the only team that I don't fancy out of the ones that we could potentially play is Bristol Rovers, either in the semis or in the final. I just think, you know, going back to what Woody was saying about our mental strength and everything earlier, it's been great, you know, against Forest Green, and obviously against Barrow when, you know, when they equalised and everything. And I've questioned the mental strength of this team a lot over this last season, but they have showed incredible mental strength. Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling that Joey Barton and his he'd win the psychological battle against Ben Garner. And so I don't want us to play Rovers. But
Rich doesn't want
us
to play Mansfield.
Well, I'd prefer Rovers over I prefer Mansfield over Rovers, actually. Honestly, I would, but that's
Port Vale and Sutton it is then.
Well, to be fair,
but
just from what I was watching Bank Holiday Monday, I wouldn't fear fucking Port Vale at all.
Yeah, but Port Vale, Mansfield were crap the other day as well.
All the teams just don't seem to want to win, do they? They just don't seem to want to go for that automatic place.
And that's why it's going to happen, lads. That's why we're finishing third.
I agree.
I'm worried about Rovers, but any other team I don't mind. So as long as we win and try and avoid Rovers, that's all I care about, really.
If Rovers go up, I'll be quietly confident that this is going to be our year. If Rovers go up, because they're the one team that I'm actually nervous about. The others, I'm quite confident.
Have you seen Walsall have won their last 6
and 7? Yeah,
6 and 7 at home.
Yeah.
There we go. Thought I'd just chuck that in there very quickly.
Love that.
Why is it everyone just tries to put a dampener on this episode?
All right,
have you seen who they played against as well?
But don't forget, Barrow had been in very good form, relatively speaking, going into that game, beating the likes of Forest Green themselves.
Barrow, who's got the best away record in the league as well, Ned?
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't lost an away game since Crawley mid-March, so.
You say that we're only at the beginning of May now.
No, we've still played 4 away games, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then before that,
you brought that stat out, it was like we played 50 games away from home since then.
There'll be more away fans than home as well. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be so many Swindon there.
Yeah. Right, let's talk Walsall then and see how confident you all are. And once again, there was a poll put out to see how confident our fellow fans were, and as you can see, overwhelmingly the belief is there we're going to win, Rich.
Yes. I think, given the fans that, until Ned pulled that stat up, no, I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a little bit shaky. Do you know what I mean? No, but seriously though, I think 3,500 strong Walsall away, you just don't see it. And you know, I'd love to think that the buzz that we've given the away games this season, the home games, the past 2 home games against Forest Green and Barrow will sort of take us over the line. I think it's going to be a tough game, but we've done it there before this season. We've beaten them at home this season very convincingly. So I'd like to think that, I think Garner will have a game plan, but also I think he will probably just say to the team, you know what to do. You've got 1 game away from the playoffs and potentially automatic promotion. Literally just got to go out there, play your hearts out like you have done most of the season, And yeah, just absolutely give it. It's going to be an absolutely crazy day out. And I know the players are going to want to give the fans something really special there this weekend. And I'm hoping I've got something to celebrate in Birmingham for after. So let's go, lads. Literally, I wish it was Saturday already. I'm absolutely buzzing for this. I cannot wait. It just sucks that there's 3 more days until the day that we actually play. So that's the disappointing thing.
Woody, it's been a while since I've actually asked you to put your coach's hat on, but I'm going to ask you for these 2 questions, if I may. There's a cliche in football that there are certain games that you shouldn't need. I mean, you shouldn't really need to motivate players to play anyway, but they say there are certain games you shouldn't need to motivate. Is this one of those? Garner really doesn't have a job to do in the build-up to this. Yes, there's the training element, but in the game day itself, he shouldn't really need to say anything.
Yeah, and I think there shouldn't really need to be saying anything, especially if he doesn't change the lineup. You know, every time a coach doesn't have to change the lineup, his tactical team talk gets easier, because it's just kind of, you know, as you were lads type thing. And I think there will be a slight tactical element that he will have to implement if we're taking the lead at half time. I think he will try to calm everybody down at half time, if that makes sense, in terms of, because the nerves will settle in if we're only 1 goal ahead. He'll say that the players won't know about other scores, but they will. They always do. You know,
the fans will soon let them know if that betting slip looks like it's coming in.
Well, funny enough, you say that.
Score, it will erupt.
on the back of that, I actually think, you know, related to the previous question, I actually think we're either going to finish 3rd or 4th, and I think it's either mathematically going to work for us, or we're going to miss out by 1 result. That's what I think is going to happen. 1 result is going to let us down. And it'll be whoever takes 3rd spot, whether it's Rovers or Northampton. But anyway, back to the tactical element of the game. I think, I think he would have done a lot of his talking this week. Everything would have been on the training ground this week. There won't be too much talking in the changing room on Saturday. I imagine it will be, you know, he's that type of coach that is more engaging with his actual players. He'd be having one-to-one conversations and giving them little things to do individually. That, you know, matey boy on the left, you know, he's a shaky on his second touch. He'd be doing things like that because that's how he analyzes the game. He said that before, that they analyze the opposition very heavily. But I would, it's easy for me to say as a youth coach / women's coach, I would almost just stick up the previous results up on the wall, and say, and this is what the table looks like now, and this is what it's going to look like if you win. And that would be your team talk done.
And from the other perspective, I mean, me and you, and until recently, Ben, have always said we're ever the optimists, and until it's mathematically impossible, you always have to believe. Will there even be a mention, in your opinion, of automatics, even just in a team discussion?
No, I would say you guys know that without us winning, we can't do anything. So his focus will be on, you have to win this game. That will be his focus. And as I think he said in his post-match, he said, we know we've got to go there and win the game regardless, because I know that we do have a little bit of a buffer now based on obviously Monday's results, but he won't want that. He'll want to win the game. He won't be setting up to defend a 1-0 lead. He'll say, go out there, win the game. Think about back at the county ground when we smashed them 5-0, you know, and things like that. He'll be looking to exploit every weakness they've got. And I hope he just says to him, play with that intensity that we started against Forest Green, because Walsall are at home. They're not going to want to, you know, as Ned said, they, off the back of, what was it? Did you say 6 and 7? Did someone say 6 wins and 7? When you're on the back of that, they're on a high, so they ain't going to sit back. You know, they'll be probably a bit more defensive than what Barrow were, but they're at home. They're not going to want to sit back, and they will want to upset the 3,500 travelling vans. So I think the team talk will already be done pretty much during the week.
Craig, how much of that actually do you think will be a factor? You know, Walsall are at home. We're taking a big crowd. They're not going to want to be, you know, as much as that there's a battle on the pitch, they're not going to want to lose the battle off the pitch either. You know, there's 3,500 people from Wiltshire turning up at their place and almost making it their own home. The Walsall fans aren't going to want that, and therefore they're going to be battling themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, it's kind of I've sort of thinking about this a lot the last couple of days, and it's going to be like a cup final atmosphere, I think. And with cup final, what worries me is with like a cup final type fixture, anyone can obviously win it. And although I'm confident that we can beat them, I'm just sort of like thinking, is that pressure? Is it going to be like one of those famous end of season sort of games where we're battering them and everything, and it's just not going for us, and we're doing everything we can to score, and it's just not going. I remember there was one of the early seasons when Man U were challenging for the Premiership, and they were playing West Ham, and they were drawing, and they needed to win, and they battered the goal and everything, and it was like the last game of the season, and they ended up losing, I think, to Blackburn in the end. Yeah. And it was, it was like a cup final, even though it was like a league game. And that's kind of how I'm seeing this, how this might go. I hope it isn't, but this is Swindon, and we say about the Swindon, how what this club is like, and they did it for us. They made hard work of it on Saturday. Let's face it. They should have killed that game off before Barrow had equalised, and that's kind of what I'm worried about on Saturday. It's just typical when we support this club. It's like when we support England as well, and
you can't enjoy the good times because something there's that proverbial spanner going to turn up at some point.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, I'm confident that we'll get the win, but there is that part of me that's worried that this, like I said, it's kind of like going to be like a home game, but like you were saying, Fifey, their fans are going to be up for it, our fans are going to be up for it, and it's going to be quite a raucous atmosphere. So anything can happen is what I'm trying to say in short, I think.
Yeah, no, completely understand. Ned, so you've got Craig imagining that our season's going to come down to a 93rd minute off the crossbar, off Jack Payne's left testicle, rolling over the net type goal. And then you've got other fans thinking that there's going to be another 5-0 demolition job. Well, where are you sitting? Because there seems to be no grey area.
Oh, I think it could be a goal fest. Because they're pretty handy going forward. So I think I think it's going to be like a 3-2 or something. I don't think the fans would be able to cope with a 3-2. I know it's going to have a bit of Sheffield United vibes, where one team in the ascendancy, then the other, and then the other, and I just got that horrible feeling. But I mean, I think we'll win, but okay. I think it's going to be a goal fest.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident going in. I'm mainly confident as well because we've got a little added buffer that everyone's forgotten that the Port Vale Newport result gave us. Because if Exeter beat Port Vale, which is likely, we only need a draw, no matter what Sutton do, because we all finish 7th. So there is that little bit of buffer. That result against Newport was quite big for us, and even if we get through Barrow, that might do it. So that might ease the tension a little bit.
Not relevant to us in the slightest, Ben. Sorry to interrupt, but just briefly, we mentioned in the last episode, now Exeter were level with Forest Green. Who do we all think is going to win the league? And do I remember right? They both went and lost their next fixture.
Yeah, Exeter drew and Forest Green lost.
Oh, so Exeter top now then?
Yeah, Exeter top now. Forest Green, sort of, don't know what's up with them, really. They've completely lost the plot over the last few months, and they can't seem to break their poor run. Exeter have just looked solid. Port Vale have the last 3 on the spin. So, yeah, I'm hoping Exeter romp it home with a victory there, which means we only need a point.
Last week you said you were hoping Forest Green won the league.
I thought Forest Green might, because I thought Forest Green would beat Harrogate. And I thought Wolverhampton might get something out of Exeter. That's why I thought. But obviously, Forest Green have had a complete shed collapse after losing to the mighty Swindon. They've obviously gave everything they could, but just weren't good enough to beat us, and they have nothing left in the tank to take on Harrogate. That's obviously what's happened. Yeah, so I'm confident. I think we'll go through. I think we'll win by the odd goal. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be nervous. I think it's going to be tense. I think a goal in the last 10 minutes in front of the away fans, and we're going to absolutely lose our shit.
Okay, so you can throw in a score prediction as well if you want, but I'm going to do it a bit differently today. Where I'll ask you all where you think we finish in terms of league position, and if you say a playoff position, I want to know what you think the playoffs look like. Okay, I will start with you, Ben.
I think we are going to finish 5th. And
After what result?
After a 2-1 win
Okay.
against Walsall, I think we're going to finish 5th. I think below us will be Sutton. I think they will pull off a victory against Harrogate. I think Port Vale will slip out of the playoffs altogether. And I think 4th will be Mansfield, who will play away at home, in the first game on Sunday. And then the 3rd place will be Northampton.
Okay. Craig?
Yeah, I think we'll win and stay. I think it'll just stay as it is. To be honest, I think the other teams will win, and which means we'll end up playing Rovers in the semis for the playoffs. And like Ben said, I think Sutton will win as well, but they'll it won't be enough for them.
Okay. Woody?
I haven't really done the maths behind it, but
that's fine. We're still, nothing if not making it up on the spot.
I'm going with the impossible. We're going to win 3-1, and everybody else is going to fuck it up and bottle it like we normally would, and we're going to finish 3rd. Sod it, I'm sticking my neck on the line.
We're going up.
Yeah.
Ned, on the other hand, is doing the maths. I can see him doing the maths, which is why I came to him last.
Right, so Northampton, I think, are going to win. I think Bristol Rovers will win. I think Mansfield will win. I think we will win. So that will put us, I think Port Vale will lose to Exeter. So yeah, I think, so that will put us in 6th place. And then it will be, Sutton, I don't think beat Harrogate. I think Harrogate will beat Sutton. So I think it will be, so it'll be Bristol Rovers, Port Vale in the semi, Rovers to win, Swindon versus Mansfield, Swindon to win, Swindon versus Bristol Rovers. Oh, shitting hell.
I do hope no one has, like a stag do or a family holiday booked for the end of May. That would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, we'll have to cancel it.
Oh, dear.
I actually currently don't have a holiday booked for the end of May. So.
Let's keep it that way.
Keep it that way.
Do you know what, Sarah's looking at every year, summer, Sarah looks at holidays and she always brings up May Day bank holiday. And I'm always like, keep that free. And I even said it last summer and she was like, we're in the shit. You're not going up next season. I keep that free. And I was right. Well, touch wood, I'm right. And we're not there yet. But I mean,
Ben's getting overconfident again now. Referencing back to what Rich was saying earlier, and I think I know the way this is going to go because of a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago. But Luke did ask us, on the assumption Woolacott is fit, who do you start in goal on Saturday? Are we all sticking with Ward?
Yeah, same team for me.
Just
I think you can't. You don't want to be chopping keepers at this stage of the season. Keep him in. All right, he did have, like Rich said, he should have done a lot better with that goal that he conceded on Saturday. But I think he'd have been kicking himself anyway, and he'll make sure that he doesn't make a mistake like that again.
We've given Woolacott plenty of chances and time, though, haven't we? About mistakes Woolacott's made, and we've gone, it's all right, he's on. So I think we need to send this team to Wardy, who deserves his little trot and goal, and he's done fine. So, yeah, he might have a little error.
To be honest, I feel more confident with Ward in goal than Woolacott. That's just me.
Ned, you've got a smile on your face there. Is there something you want to add into that?
No. Well, I didn't hear because, sorry, my son was asking how long I'm going to be because he clearly wants to use the internet again, which is why I wasn't on a few weeks back. I was just going to say, keep it as it is, and then maybe investigate in the playoffs.
Okay.
But it would be interesting to know what the situation is with Wollacott. I don't know what you was just talking about then, but
No, you haven't missed anything. We're still talking about Wollacott.
okay. Has he signed for another club? Because if he has, then absolutely Ward continues, doesn't it? There's no point chucking him in if he's signed for someone else.
The final question from Luke, and it has to be said, I don't know the ins and outs about whether there are extension policies, etc., on theirs, but he's asked, and I think it briefly got mentioned in an episode a couple of weeks ago. In your opinion, say we get promoted, would it be worth offering Telford a contract in the summer? You're all just kind of screwing your face. No,
Dominic Telford.
Considering we're all signing Charlie Austin, would we need him?
Well, hopefully we'll get Davison back as well. So
and Simpson, just for lols, we'll have all four, yeah?
Yeah, we'll have all four.
Yeah,
HMS Piss the League with all the strikers.
I mean,
we sign them all, they can't score against us.
Telford could be a backup option if other signings don't go to plan. I think we've got those other players that could be ahead of the queue for him for that position.
So you reckon we've probably got 3, if not 4, striking targets ahead of him potentially?
Targets, yeah, not that they're not that they're guaranteed, but yeah, I think there's definitely some ahead of him in the queue. Okay,
fair enough. Now, Woody cheated by actually reading our notifications and doing some prep work. However, there was.
I didn't do any prep.
You just read it and thought, "Oh, that looks like a difficult question to answer." So PCM did send in, other than a 5-fold betting slip for £4,000, he did send us a question. Whether we go up or not, it really has been one hell of a ride this season. The club have pulled out all the stops and everyone has pulled together when it's mattered. What are your top 3 moments of the season? And you can't say winning away at Walsall because it's not happened yet then. So who wants to come in with whether it's 1, 2 or 3? Go on, Ben.
Oh, I was going to give you my 3. I've got them all lined up in my head.
Go on then. What's your top 3 moments of the season?
My top 3 moments. Now, I've only gone for places that I've been to, so games that I've actually been to myself. Okay. So obviously, number 1, the resurrection, where we came back and we put him in his place, and Dion Conroy buries it in the 95th minute, and that absolute feeling of have it.
Only you, and I'm not disputing that it was an excellent moment, but only you in a season where we could make the playoffs and we played Man City in the FA Cup would pick beating Oldham 1-0.
Yes. So beating Sheridan 1-0. That moment, Dion Conroy scores and he's getting. But that was good. That was a good moment for us as well, because we'd been on a pretty bad run and won at home, and it was. So
is that number 1 or number 3?
No, that's one of my 3. Number
These
2,
are in no particular order.
No particular order. Number 2 was in general.
No particular order. Number 2.
Was Forest Green. That moment when we took the lead against Forest Green, I really loved that little move up when Baldry just sent that little player to the shops, played in Payne, who then played up a beautiful ball from McCurdy, a lovely crossfield pass for Barry to smash in the far post, and that's a quality goal against the league runaway leaders, and beautiful.
The runaway leaders who aren't even top anymore.
No, but they were at the time. And the other one, I'm tied. It's the FA Cups. It's either McCurdy's goal against Man City, which was nice, but I think my winner is actually Kane Kessler's winner against Walsall away in the FA Cup. And that moment it went in, and just seeing his cheery little face, and it was right in front of me, and we're all going mental. That was a cracking atmosphere as well at Walsall. So yeah, that's my 3.
Okay, good choices. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. And this is in no particular order. This is chronological order. And I've only been to one of the 3 games that I'm mentioning, so I don't get to go to many games. But for me, it'd have to be when Ben Gladwin scored the 2nd goal against Scunthorpe. and first game of the season, not because it was him, but the celebration afterwards with the team and everything, and how together they were. Just considering this team had been thrown together at the last minute, there just seemed to be an amazing team bond there, which has pretty much continued for the rest of the season. So, we were like looking, we didn't know what to expect for the start of the season, and once that goal went in, and obviously went on to win 3-1, it was just like, this looks good. This looks good. And so that was the first game. Second game would be the when we beat Forest Green at their place, because that was when I was starting to think, and I'm normally very pessimistic when it comes to Town, but I was starting to think, we've got, I was thinking might a little bit, might be able to, to do well this season and maybe get in the playoffs or even go up, because I think Forest Green even then were top of the league when we beat them. And, so yeah, that, and that's when I started to get a bit more confidence and was, thinking, oh, I'm really enjoying this, this ride that we're going on. And then third, which is more of a personal thing for me, was Barrow on Saturday, seeing my first home win of the season after about eight or so games. So yeah, that was just, and obviously as I said earlier, the atmosphere, and for my kids to see Swindon win at home, it meant a lot. So yeah, that was my 3 moments.
Okay, who's going next, Woody or Ned?
I can go because 2 of mine have already been said.
Go on.
One of them is the Scunthorpe away game, because I was there when that Ben Gladwin goal went in. That was quite a special moment in terms of just seeing the kind of team battle back from being 1-0 down as well. There was a lot of nervousness going up to that game because obviously of the summer we had and all of that kind of stuff. The second, I'm actually tied on the second one, but I am going to go for the recent Forest Green win, mainly because I didn't watch the away fixture. But it was just the whole atmosphere from that game, and the fact I was still buzzing for about 4 days afterwards. No game has made me feel like that for a long time. So that would be criminal for me not to put that in my top 3. And then the final one, probably the Oldham game. I think it has to be, because that was probably the closest to how atmospheric the ground could have got before the recent games, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you can't beat a last-minute winner, but the stories attached to that last-minute winner, Dion Conroy, Sheridan, all of that attached to it, just made it a really good moment. There's actually quite a few when I reflect on it, but those are the 3 that probably instantly came to our mind.
Ned?
See, this is really tough. My third place is any of Sutton away. Obviously, for some reason, it's just a game that sort of stuck out with the goals. 2 quality goals. Bristol Rovers away. Obviously, that was a massive one with all the players sliding in after the 3rd goal went in. That was pretty special. Or Oldham at home would be, for obviously all the reasons that everyone else has already said. Second place is Walsall at home, because that was pretty special. That was when was the last time we saw a 5-0 home win? Jesus Christ, 10 years. That was pretty special. But the top one has to be the feeling that we all had around about pre-season time when it all happened. I've been all sentimental and all that, but it was just this is just like the defining moment of the future of the club, and the potential of future success. Just that whole change in everyone's thoughts on the club, and everyone coming together and coming to the Carrick Ground for the first time and seeing things have been painted, and it was just it's just incredible. So that, for me, nothing beats that feeling of 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 everything happening when it's all been speculation for such a long time, and then everyone didn't think it was going to happen, and then it did, and then everything was just rolling out so quickly. You can never beat that, and we'll never beat that again. Incredible.
I've kind of gone along a similar sort of thought path as you, Ned, and although mine might not be seen as, or some of mine might not be seen as isolated moments, it's the culmination of what they meant. So third, and this is going to sound a bit weird, but it was the day we recorded after signing Johnny Williams, and the buzz online that we'd signed him was unbelievable. And all of you, I think all of you were probably on that day, Rich as well, and a couple of the other guys were probably on. Everyone came on smiling, and that's when Ned came on and said, "We're going to win the league. We got Johnny fucking Williams." And just everyone was buzzing. So that's one of mine. I think two of you mentioned Forest Green away. I think Ned, you mentioned Bristol Rovers away. I kind of put the two together and said that week was a hell of a week, because we came off the high, and again, I think we recorded straight after beating Bristol Rovers, all on a high. Then I was involved in a charity streaming event while the Forest Green game was on. So I was doing the charity thing. I had the football on as well, and all the messages we were throwing about each other, and just everything that week, and even leading after it. Because if I remember rightly, did we not go and beat Plymouth the week after that, or something stupid in the Mickey Mouse Trophy? And it just carried on. But the results just kept coming in at that point, and I was really on a high sort of throughout October. I'm sure October itself was quite a good month result wise, except for maybe I seem to think Bradford might have beaten us around October time. I could Google it, I suppose. But
We drew at home to Rochdale. That was the only crap one.
Was it?
Yeah, we drew at home to Rochdale when we should have won.
But yeah,
Williams scored in the last minute to
but yeah, that week between Rovers and Forest Green, I think was a good moment to be a fan this year. And then I ummed and ahed. I thought about the 5-0 at Walsall. I thought about the game at the weekend even, and just in my own situation, obviously what I was doing and how I was listening to it and making an absolute fool of myself at my local non-league club, and nothing was happening, but I was kicking the fence and everyone was looking at me when we conceded, and then I walked out the ground celebrating and no one else was doing anything, didn't know what was going on. But I've gone for the Man City game as mine, just because it was on my birthday, and I got to see a few of you guys, including the first time I met Craig in person on my birthday as well that day. So yeah, I've gone for the Man City game as one of my 3 moments as well.
Everyone remembers where they were when they met me, mate.
Rich, you've returned just in time.
Perfect.
Your top 3 moments of the season, please.
Yeah. I have to go a bit off record because I'm going to go top 5, just so I'm
Yours
not.
have to be different.
Top 5.
Top 5?
Hang on. I've been to most of the away games this season and home games, so I've had quite.
If Hartlepool away isn't in there, then I'm going to be gutted.
Yeah, so I'm going to go. So number 5 would be Man City at home.
Because you came out on my birthday, that's why, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there was that too. Yeah, of course. I'm gonna go for the game leading up to that. I'm gonna say Walsall at number 4. Because the absolute limbs when Kesler Hayden scored that goal was just absolutely unreal. That was absolutely amazing. What a moment. Definitely hurt my knees on that. Number 3 is gonna be. It's going to be Hartlepool away, I think.
Just for the Instagram stories after.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the journey on the train home, on the train back to Newcastle, the night out, and obviously the football and the result was absolutely brilliant. Number 2, and this is a very close one, is going to be Bristol Rovers away.
Yep.
Weather was absolutely shit, but I think that's what made it probably a little bit better. And, you know, just when we got back from 1-0 down and then obviously scored 3 goals in quite quick succession, a bit like McCurdy, the impact sub of that, came on and he absolutely ripped Bristol Rovers a new arsehole. And when he scored that 3rd goal, it was just absolutely brilliant. And coming in at number 1 has to be Newport away. I don't remember much of the day. What I do remember, I do have on video. So, and I know
So you don't remember it. You've just been shown evidence.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I took a few videos, and then a couple of my mates took a few videos as well, and then a couple of my mates were telling me stories as well of what I was doing and everything. So, and then, but I do remember the end of the game, though. I do remember us scoring and then going absolutely riot. So, yeah, that's my top 5. Sorry to go a bit off record, off the top 3, but I thought I had to get everyone in. It was just,
wow. Don't worry,
you know,
mate.
and do you know what? Yeah, and do you know what? That there was most of the away games that I mean, there was a few that just missed out. I think Bradford away I can't believe I've missed out Bradford away. That was brilliant to get a last minute winner.
You didn't mention Oldham at home.
Going into double figures now, aren't you, Rich?
Yeah, top 10 now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Game
Yeah,
one.
no, there's so many to choose from. It's been an absolute amazing season following the town away. Just, you know, and I think obviously the fact that obviously we've had such good away records, especially from the start of the season to Christmas, when Scunthorpe away.
At number 42, Scunthorpe away.
You know what? I'm
Going up 5 places.
I can't even choose. I can't even choose.
You've made that clear.
That was tough. That was tough. And
It's been a good season, hasn't it, Rich?
What I will say is that, I mean, although
Ben, can you interrupt him already?
although that didn't make my top 5, that was just a special day and all. Scunthorpe away, I think, for the whole of Swindon, to get our club back. So that I'll remember that for the.
And it has to be said that these aren't ranked moments for me, but the things that stand out from this season is Ben repping Fools Rushing on just about any podcast he could get accepted to. Rich going full Z-list celebrity and having selfies with just about any Swindon fan that will have him. You know, and you knew it was going to be a great season. And forgive me if I get this wrong, but was it I want to say Hungerford in the pre-season friendly? When was it you, Woody, and Joe?
Joe was in it. Yeah,
me.
Rich was there, and Craig, and I just got sent a picture of the 4 of you. I think, or was there 5th?
No, it was 4 of us.
You 4, and I just got sent a picture of you 4 at a pre-season friendly that with a thrown together team, and I thought, you know what, we're gonna be all right.
Double date, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was.
Rich, you've come back on after we've spoke, Walsall. So if you just want a minute or 2 to say what you're expecting and a score prediction.
I'm expecting us to win. I don't really expect anything less from us.
Such a hard taskmaster.
I'm gonna say 2-1.
Okay.
You know, I think Flynn will have them up and firing like Phil Brown did with Barrow. I don't think they're going to sit back, but also I think, like I said, when we played Barrow, that suits us perfectly down to the ground. So,
okay. Before we conclude this week's episode, Woody, is there an update from WSTFC?
Yeah, there is. My under-16s lost, which isn't looking good for cup final in a few weeks.
I don't know. As soon as your HMS Pistol came into shore, you've gone completely to pot there.
Yeah. We got that mental block now that we just
Bit of a Forest Greenwich.
we're for it. Well, I hope we don't Forest Green it, but yeah, we got game.
No, because at least Woody waited till he'd actually won the trophy, not claimed he won the trophy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But we got our last league game on Thursday night, so that'll be.
Cup final must be soon. It seems to be.
Cup final is the
waiting
22nd of May.
ages.
It is ages away. It's like nearly 3 weeks after the season's finished.
I imagine you'll be throwing in a friendly or two in between then, just to keep things ticking over.
Actually, probably not. We'll probably keep it to the training ground, just because I've got a few injuries I need to recover. Me, not my players.
I was going to say, it's like your old man bad back. That kind of thing.
Yeah. My hair's going too grey at the moment. I need to get it.
You need to get the Just for Men out in time for your grand final appearance.
And I guess in some ways, commiserations to our development team. They lost 1-0 on Sunday.
It was the 6-pointer, wasn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yeah. So Warminster have won the league. As a result of that, there was a 4th-minute goal, and then Warminster just they were brilliant. To be fair, Warminster defended the game really well. So that means that they do finish second, which
I think a good achievement.
It's fantastic when you think that the average age, I think, is I'm pretty sure is 18 in that development side. And they're playing they're not even playing in the bottom tiers of women's football. So, they're playing tier 6, which is 2 levels off the first team. So, fair play to them and well done to Lally and the team, because that's a great, reflection on the development of the club in terms of, how we move things forward. As I've had under 16 step up into that team, into a team that they've not really got a lot of experience to dwell upon. So, it's a good achievement nonetheless. We couldn't get promoted anyway, so not that that's a reason not to win the league, but that's probably why it's softened the blow a little bit. So now they focus on hopefully getting accepted into the National Reserve Division.
I was going to say they're going into another league, aren't they, Woody?
Yeah, hoping to go into the National League Reserve Division. So that's playing your more well-known names such as Keynsham Reserves and Lewes Reserves and Oxford United and things like that. So all the best to them, and hopefully soon as well we'll have a first team manager announcement as well. So we'll keep our eyes out for that one. And if I can have one plug, any parents watching, we've just launched an under 14s team as well for next season. So that's year 8 and 9. Yeah. If your child's in year 8 and 9 next year and they're interested in football, please get onto them. See if they want to join, because we're not an elitist club. We'll develop most players as well. So, and same for my under 18s as well. Please feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Lovely. And just one final personal one from me. Thank you to everyone who sent messages to me over the weekend after Ned very kindly offered me 5 minutes to wish my son luck in his black belt grading on the last episode. I'm pleased to say, if you haven't seen the tweet, after his 18-hour assessment over 3 days over the weekend, he successfully was awarded his black belt, so he's now a first dan in mixed martial arts.
Superb.
At the age of 13.
Well done. Well done.
Very proud weekend for the family. And but no, thank you very much for everyone who sent me messages of congratulations and wishing him good luck ahead of time. It was an emotional one, but just to see because Aidan puts a lot of pressure on himself, bless him, at his age, more than any 13-year-old needs to. At no point, even when we got the phone call to say he'd been awarded his black belt, he wasn't happy, because he knew there was still one more thing to come. There was the breaking of the board that's synonymous with all sort of martial arts and that kind of thing. And he was very concerned he wouldn't be able to do it. He did it first time straight through the board. And apparently afterwards he had a group hug with a couple of his friends and cried tears of joy. And when I saw him, he'd already taken his orange black belt off, tied his black belt on, said, "I don't need this one anymore," and had the biggest smile on his face. And that was it. I was so chuffed. But no, I just wanted to thank everyone who sent me messages before and after. It does mean a lot.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
So all that's left to say is, if you are one of the, 3.5 something thousand fans going up to Walsall at the weekend, safe journey. Let's get the win. Be loud, be proud. And if it's not automatic, we will see you in the playoffs. From me and the rest of the panel at Fools Rush In, come on, you Reds.
Reds.